Hey everyone, welcome to Taking the Pulse, a healthcare and life sciences video podcast. I am Heather Hoops Matthews here today with Matthew Roberts, a Maynard Nexon healthcare attorney. Matthew, good to be with you.
Good to see you.
And we are coming to you live from NC Life Sci. This is the annual meeting of the North Carolina Life Sciences Organization, bringing together local and global leaders in life sciences to talk about what's next. And I am excited today that we are welcoming back a guest and welcoming a new guest. With us today, Fujifilm Diosynth Technologies. Christine, you were on last year, but you serve as the site head for the Research Triangle location. Also joining us is Laurie Braxton. She serves as Senior Vice President and site head of the Fujifilm Holly Springs location. Thank you both for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
We have a lot to catch up on, and we're going to do that because you talked a little bit last year about the $3 billion investment in the North Carolina facility. But before we get there, tell us about your roles in the organization and how you got here.
Okay,
Christine,
I'll start
with us. Thank
Hi,
you.
Thank you for having us. My name is Christine Vannais, and I'm the site head for Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnologies at the RTP, Research Triangle Park facility. So only 20 minutes away from the Holly Springs facility. And I first want to say I've been welcoming Laurie for the past few weeks. I'm very excited for her to join the Fujifilm company. We have a lot of similarities in our leadership style and passions. And so welcome, Laurie. And thank you for joining me today because both campuses have a lot of exciting advancements that are happening. And how did I get into biotech? My background is environmental health and safety, and I'm passionate about safety and sustainability. And I worked in that field for over 15 years in a lot of consulting. And if you're in consulting, you get to see a lot of spaces, and I love to learn and learn processes. So I got an opportunity to work within a pharmaceutical company, and that was it. Fell in love. I love to make medicine. I love to know that I'm helping people, and technology-wise, it's so interesting. And in the beginning, I was with Schering-Plough and Merck, and in facilities that we were making transdermal patches and antibiotics and even packaging. But I got an introduction into biologics through animal health with Merck in the Midwest, and I fell in love with that process. It's complicated, but it's so interesting. But I love to be on the floor and learn processes, and that's a core piece for Fujifilm. We call that going on the Gemba. And that's how I learn, by working with people and seeing and processes and listening. And I just have a learning leadership style where I really thrive on that.
Right.
I can see it in your eyes as you talk about it.
Yeah.
Laurie, what about you?
Yeah, so I joined Fujifilm in July of this year. I came from large pharma. I worked for GlaxoSmithKline in the area for 22 years. And I had done a variety of different things in supply chain and operations. So I led external manufacturing, where we would go out and find others to help us to make our products that we didn't have capability inside. So I've been the customer and knowing what it's like and needing to find a partner that's out there that can help us to do what we need for patients. And then during COVID, I got the chance to run my first manufacturing site in Zebulon, North Carolina. It was a respiratory site during COVID. So you can imagine the challenges of supporting people with trying to go through coming to work every day and feeling safe, but also meeting the needs of so many in the world during a really tough time. And similar to Chris and her journey, I fell in love with managing and leading people and helping people to see what they're capable of doing and feeling safe and confident in what they do. It takes a lot to get product to market. It takes a lot to manufacture every single day, and it's really important that we take care of our people when we do that. So when Fuji approached me about this opportunity to build an amazing facility in the area that I call home, and to do it in a way that we talk about our Genki and what does it mean, our culture, right? And how do people show up every day and how do you take care of each other to get the best out of everyone, to get the best for patients? I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
And so I've been here since
Pretty good
July.
sales pitch.
I was just going to say,
Loving
it
it
makes
every
me want to
second.
join.
So last year when we talked to you, Christine, about the Holly Springs location, there was some good progress, but I think you've got an update now, Laurie, for us about what's happened there and the good news that you have.
So since last year when you met with Chris and she talked about the Holly Springs build, we have hit 90% completion with construction. So we're looking at being ready for GMP production in the second half of 2025. We have onboarded over 375 full-time employees with many more in the pipeline to come. We've attracted some really fantastic partners that have come to us and have agreed to make their products in our new facility. We also announced in April of this year an even further expansion. So where we make drug substance, we're going to double that footprint so we can make even more at the facility. So the announcement was an incremental $1.2 billion investment in the facility.
So remind us, how big will the facility be ultimately, and how many employees do you anticipate having once you're at full capacity?
Sure. So by 2030, because the second expansion will go live early 2028, by 2030, when we're in full operation, we'll have over 1,400 employees at the facility.
Wow.
We will be doing drug substance, we'll do drug product, and we'll do finished pack as well at the facility.
Okay.
What a great opportunity for you.
Yeah,
Right.
It's fantastic. I'll put it in perspective for you. So if you walk from one end of the facility to the other,
Yes.
it's 1/4 of a mile.
Oh, so you get your
Yeah.
steps in.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
I'm going to be fit.
Now, down the road, you mentioned 20 minutes is
Yep.
the RTP facility. What goes on there?
So at the Research Triangle Park facility, this is where we're focusing on development. So a client brings a molecule or a concept or a process to us. Our expert scientists make that ready for manufacturing. They develop it. So they scale it up. They're doing the hard work behind the scenes to make sure it's robust enough to be made, usually starting in a clinical. We have a manufacturing facility and we do clinical batch manufacturing, and then also we have commercial batch manufacturing. And in the space here, we're focusing on drug substance only, but our services in the process development area is really a network-wide services. So no matter where you're aiming the manufacturing for, what scale, what size, what modality, the process development staff and equipment and facilities at Research Triangle Park are what enable that to happen. And excitingly, that's where we have expanded. We doubled the size of our Bioprocess Innovation Center. We call it the BIC. And that allows us to provide more of these services, but more in depth. So as a molecule's going through the pipeline, you need to characterize it, process characterization. That is where we've invested in that space, along with some advanced analytics and analytical technologies that are leading edge, but also bring efficiency, robustness, quality, and safety along with it. And in this space, we have our quality control labs as well. So we were spread out. We had a couple different facilities. It brings all of the teams together, and with innovative new technologies and the process characterization skills and services that our clients need to progress into commercialization.
How do you market that center? I mean, it sort of speaks for itself, but how do you make sure that folks know that you have that capability and they can come to you from wherever they are?
I think that's part of the entire package for Fujifilm and Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnologies. We are working on our branding. We are a life science company. Even today, I met a few people and they said, "You still make cameras?" Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we're a very diverse company, but we are really strengthening in the life sciences area. This process characterization and process development is the first step to scaling up or getting a program. And we have this capability in the UK, but also here in RTP and in Texas. So it is a base offering. When a client comes to you, if they don't have a fully commercialized process, they're going to start at this stage. And so when clients come to us, whether they have a clinical pipeline, a commercial pipeline, there's always some amount of development or characterization to match a facility and or develop it. So it's a standard base offering many, many clients tap into.
Right. I see that.
20 minutes apart. This is substantial investment right here in North Carolina. Last year, we talked a little bit about the ability to do business here.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose this testifies to you're getting the people that you need. You got your 300 plus. You're going to need, a lot more. And you have the culture and environment to grow.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think the culture is an important aspect of it because people need to feel safe and have opportunities to expand. And the one thing that's really important about a CDMO, contract development and manufacturing as an organization, is for people who want to continuously learn. Because there's a new client, a new technology, a new modality that you may not get somewhere else. And so if you love that learning spot, a CDMO is a great space for people. And in Research Triangle Park, with the workforce development, the universities, the community colleges, even the public high schools are getting tapped into what is a STEM career and what is biotech. I don't want to leave out our veteran friends as well. There are audiences, and in the community, we want our workforce to look like the community that we're in, but we have work to do in developing that diverse workforce that can meet the needs of not just our companies,
Right.
all of the companies in life sciences here as we grow tremendously in North Carolina.
Let's talk about that, because when we're at this type of meeting, we hear a lot about workforce development. We also hear about how good North Carolina is to come to and develop and to grow existing facilities, as y'all are examples of both. What are some of the partnerships you have with colleges, with tech schools and community colleges to help you on the workforce development? Because finding those employees you need, we know that's not an easy thing no matter where you are. But how do you partner with some of these schools to make it easier?
You want to start with maybe some of the grants and
Yeah. Well, I'll start
systems.
with just a great example, right? So I don't want to oversell the area because then everybody's going to want to move here and it's already competitive enough. But one of the things that's really important to us as we're building a new facility in Holly Springs is to think about how we do it in the right way. How do we make sure from an environmental sustainability perspective that we're thinking about it and coming out in a strong start? So we're thinking about the future. Right? So one of the things that we're doing is making sure that when we start up the facility that we're carbon neutral and that we're thinking ahead to what types of certifications will really help us to keep growing that and setting the example and the bar for others. So we're going after being LEED certified, right? We'll be one of the first in the areas to be able to do that and to really come out and make a statement about how important it is. Part of that is we've developed a partnership with NC State around biodiversity preservation. Right? What is it that's coming our way that we need to be thinking about, and how can the students help us to solve the problems in front of us? It's just a great area that we're in to be able to leverage the universities, introduce them to what they could be doing with their careers, and then attract them for when they graduate.
That small picture is a great story, testifies to a larger culture.
yes.
Speaking of that, Kojo X. You both talked about it before we started. Philosophy, culture, process. I don't know exactly platform what the right word is.
Yeah.
But if you'd both give us your sense of how would you describe it so we can maybe see a vision of it.
Well, I think Kojo X is key to Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnology's future because it will transform the way we're able to deliver. What is important to our clients is that their patients are served. That's safety, that's quality, that's speed and flexibility. How do you enable that? Kojo X is a transformational way where facilities can be designed the same, operations can be done the same across the ocean, across different sites, so that lends to safety, quality, and speed because you're having a proven system and you're replicating that and reducing waste, reducing time. But it's also a transformational concept as we do more than harmonize, but we do that within the framework of the people-first culture, transforming the industry and delivering exceptionally. So those are kind of our base criteria as we look at our strategy, and where Kojo X can enable these, we're implementing those concepts, systems, tools, training. And it's one to build it the same where you're building something new, but how do you even apply it to things like we talked about process development? If you're doing it in two sites, how can you do it in a similar way that is efficient but also very robust?
So when we're talking about Kojo X, if we think about it from a customer perspective and why it's so important, what customers and clients and our partners need is to be able to get their products to patients as fast as they can and as efficiently as they can. So when you think about things like a tech transfer and how much time that typically takes, we're thinking we can speed it up by and improve it by at least 40%, right? And reduce that time that it takes to get that product from manufacturing into the market. Things like when we're setting up a new facility, we're expanding around the globe. So if every facility took 2 to 3 years to build, that's a significant amount of time that it takes to bring it to market. How can we cut that time down by doing it right the first time, transferring what we've learned, transferring it again to the next? So it's really becoming foundational in how we operate as a company and how we think, so that we're always thinking ahead to who's going to use this next. How do we make it as agile as possible for our customers?
This may be an obvious question, but would that even be in how you build a facility? Will your facilities look the same?
Mm-hmm. So I'll give you a great example. So the scale that we're building in Holly Springs, we have a sister site in Denmark. Denmark's been operating for several years, but they're also expanding. So end of this year, they're going to bring on more drug substance capability and drug product filling capability. So they'll go live end of 24. We go live in 25. They have a next expansion that'll go live in 26, and then we go live end of 27. So what we're doing is ping-ponging the design back and forth and improving on it as we go. So phase 1 in Holly Springs, when we finish phase 2 in Holly Springs, it'll be 97% like for like.
Incredible.
Really? That is incredible.
And think about that when the corridor is a quarter mile long and how large these and how complex and how automated this is.
Right.
Getting that alignment and harmonizing and staying to it adds value to our clients and the customers around the world. That's why it's important and we think attractive and makes us different than other CDMOs.
It'll differentiate us.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to have you come back next year,
Oh, yes.
right? Because you're going to have
Well,
more
maybe
advances.
you guys come to us in Holly
Oh,
Springs.
yeah, that's even better. Thank you for taking the time to join us for this episode of Taking the Pulse. I do wish you guys the best, especially with your new role, Laurie. But Chris Vannais, Laurie Braxton, Fujifilm Biotechnologies, we're just so grateful to have a growing relationship with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.